So why don't you talk to me a little bit about how you feel art is able to influence one another, and like how are we able to take stuff like this and just translate it into something that can be like totally our own?
It's all the same.
All forms of art are they're dependent on one another, and I would say it derives from the concept of interconnectedness.
Hello, I'm Kayley Kerastas. It's hard because sometimes I don't really plan what I'm gonna do before I do it. I'm gonna hope for the best and just wing it like good old times. However, I'm going to do a painting. I've been incorporating some, like I mentioned earlier, some sponges, so I'm gonna try and do some sponges for textural aspects, and I'm gonna do some acrylic work. Unfortunately, I don't really have much else, so I'm just gonna see how that goes. Definitely watercolor. I really enjoy watercolor. It's a little bit more forgiving, and it's just so coherent with everything else you make, whereas if you're doing something with oil painting, it's you have to kind of know what you're doing because it's really heavy work and it can be really bold, and I feel like I'm much more soft-spoken of a painter or an artist, what have you. So I do really enjoy watercolors, and I love working with micron pens and just kind of doing line work and pointillism and sort of incorporating mixed media, doing sort of collage work here and there, and then trying to layer everything and seeing how that becomes a series in itself and finds a way to be cohesive. I love to put on a record. That's first and foremost. I have to have music when I do anything with art. I also like to put on sage, burn some sage or some sort of candle. I don't know if it helps in any way, but it smells great, so maybe that does a little something. But you know, it's funny. I don't really know what I do because it all just feels so natural. I don't really take any particular steps. It's not really anything sort of a schedule. It's just I find myself, immersing almost immediately. I just kind of sit down, give a good old stretch to the body, and sometimes I'll fiddle around with some colors and do some mixing and like try to conjure up something new, or I'll always have a scrap piece of paper to test some things, so maybe I'll test some things there. But I feel as though if I think about it too long, or if I try to put too much of a process into it, then I'm gonna sit on it too heavily. So I always try to remind myself that whatever I make is going to be beautiful. So I would say nature is probably one of my biggest inspirations, and just the beauty of it all, and it's just a profound thing that's always been here. I somehow always incorporate something from nature in my work, or where it maybe not as representative as it would be as oh, that's a tree, but maybe parts of a tree are like certain minuscule aspects of nature that kind of come together. I feel as though taking concepts and taking my love for nature and life as a whole and creating something, letting it come, letting it run through me and my creative process and come out as something entirely different. I feel as though it's my way of connecting to nature so much more because I'm taking, things from it. And as much as I love being out in it, I feel like I'm going a step further and trying to be novel and try to see. It's almost my way of interpreting the essence of life in various ways that I can only create, because art as a whole is completely subjective. Nothing is the same, and that's the beauty of art as a whole.
My name is Pilnick. Kalamazoo-based teacher and musician. Originally from Long Island, New York, and I went to school in upstate New York. I completed my master's here at Western about a year ago. So my band, the Pilnick Project, is a good vehicle for me compositionally. It has a lot of kind of like modern jazz, kind of new millennium age jazz, so a combination of some in and out, so changes like traditional jazz and more open stuff. And I'm very fortunate to have a band that I've been playing with for about 2 years almost, maybe a year and a half. And they play whatever I write. And it gives me an opportunity to express situations. If I hear something, in the shower, I just play it and write it and develop it. Or writing for family members, or writing for friends. It's kind of all over the place, whatever kind of happens. And I just write it down, I sing it on my phone, and then it develops from there. And it's like all over the place. Like I'll be reading something, like I'm also a substitute teacher, and I was reading some Whitman, and I just like, oh, this might be cool to write some poetry, like based on some poetry. Or the Luscombe grant I did, I just read the poetry that we did it on, and I was like, this is amazing, and I want to do something about this. So it's really like spur of the moment stuff, I'd say. More like, oh, this is cool, or I'm reading this and it triggers like an idea to then compositionally go off of it. I try and come up with either an idea at the piano, or on the saxophone, or noodle. A lot of times it's noodling. I'm like, oh, that sounds cool, and then I'll like write it down. And then from there I'll try and harmonize that or come up with a vibe. I think that's really where I come up with first. Is like, what's the kind of the spherical situation I want to come up with, and it kind of goes from there. I listen to a lot of music, a lot of ranges, from rock and roll to jazz and free jazz, more standard stuff. So I kind of pull from everywhere. I think we're really fortunate, like with the internet and like other ways to kind of like pull from everywhere and have it all like on a phone in our pocket. Be like, oh, I have this vibe. Where did I hear that from? And then be like, oh wait, it's this person or that group. Oh, wait, they did this, and how can I kind of steal from that to make my own thing? I find that's really successful. Like kind of picking from different people, and different ideas and concepts and composers and musicians, being like, oh, a little of this, a little sprinkle of that, and that seems to also work out. It's like freedom, just to play whatever. And, there's also a lot of responsibility, because when you play, like when you do like art or photography, it's like there, like you're recording and it's there. But if you're doing it in real time, it kind of moment happen, so you have to be responsible for everything. But it's also very freeing to just play and kind of see what happened in what direction, being cognizant to that. Instead of just being like super square, like playing other people's music or just limiting to one thing. So yeah, playing saxophone's fun. It's hard, but it's fun. It'd be an experience for sure. You know, kind of seeing it and really doing it, because I feel like a lot of times compositionally I don't be like, okay, at 12 o'clock I'm gonna write music. It never really works out that way. Every time I sit there, it's like trying to write a paper. And you're like, all right, I have to write this paper and I'm gonna sit down right now and do it. And then you just like, don't have nothing and it's garbage. So I always feel like if I'm more organically thrown into the situation of like, oh, here's this, or here's this idea, and then something happens, just kind of go with it and being really open to it and seeing where it goes.
Want to go ahead and take a look at it?
Sure. Sweet. So like a ton of layers and a lot of different texture in terms of like, I mean, the actual paint and then like the different kind of strokes. So there's like a lot of these like dots, and then there's like these longer, it looks like just kind of like spattered paint a little bit. Kind of looks almost like that's like a flower growing out. That's the first thing I kind of see. But I do see a lot of texture, like this green kind of hides in behind the purple and the lavender and the white. And like, you can kind of see there's like a black background. So there's like a lot of layers and a lot of texture, which is cool. Just makes me want to play, I guess. So that's not good. That's not a good answer.
Cool. I like that answer.